Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Tonight, I come to talk to you about a place that has become near and dear to my heart, and also a place with beautiful people and beautiful culture. We are here tonight talking about Pine Ridge. And commonly in the literature, it's actually called Pine Ridge Reservation. In fact, that is an incorrect representation of the community. Before it was Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and what reservations stand for are actually prisoner of war camps. Pine Ridge Indian Reservation is known as Prisoner of War Camp 334. When referring to this community, it should be referred to as Ogallala Lakota Nation. If you are to Google Ogallala Lakota Nation or even Pine Ridge, multiple statistics pop up, and these statistics do not paint the community in a positive light. They talk about poverty. They also talk about something called missing and murdered Indigenous relatives, which this is a crisis that happens. Beyond talking about poverty and murder and missing, there is also statistics on rape. These illustrations of the community paint it in an incorrect light. And from years and years of suppression and pushing people onto land, which they originally owned thousands upon thousands of acres of. Tonight, we are talking about a return to tribal sovereignty. According to Planto 2016, theoretical underpinnings come from healing to communities that have their own traditional values and practices. Tonight, we are here to talk about the 7 Lakota values, which are based on tribal sovereignty that actually work as protective factors to prevent missing and murder, to strengthen the communities so that there's not poverty. As academics, we have a responsibility to share our platforms with those who are more specialized and more knowledgeable about the communities. I am not a fluent Lakota speaker. I am also very privileged as I have had the opportunity to go through higher education. Even though all my book knowledge and reading about the 7 Lakota values, again, not a fluent speaker, tonight we are lucky enough to have a spiritual leader from Ogallala Lakota Nation. His name is Duane, and I turn my time over to him to educate on community practices and cultural values.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's good to see each and every one of you here tonight. In my language, I say, it does me good for my heart to see each and every one of you here tonight. I just want to say, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to Danielle for giving me some time here to come over here and to share a little bit of how it is on our homelands, just a little bit to the east of us, And I'm very honored tonight to carry on this beautiful task and to share what little we have left as Lakota people. We are a long generation of survivors of genocide and annihilation. And our people, we are a fierce and a loving people. And so with that, I wanted to acknowledge our 7 values that we have as Lakota people. And the first one, with it being fortitude, we always carry fortitude. And in our Lakota language, we call it wowachi tanka, to be of our heart whenever we face challenge and with courage and confidence, even if danger was in the midst. We always tried to have that persevering spirit by carrying courage and having confidence doing so. And sometimes whenever our people went to war, we always carried fortitude and having faith, knowing that we're going to have a good outcome. And so that's kind of how we are today in our way of life at home. We carry fortitude knowing that there's always a better day coming. And so with the next one is generosity. Wachant hognaka. We always carry understanding, and we rendering sympathy, rendering compassion in hard times. And we always have to have that lighter understanding that, that we're only spirits enduring a little bit of time here on Mother Earth. And that's kind of how we carry with that generosity. We always have to have faith, knowing that the higher power and spiritual giving that the Creator gives to us, and that's the generosity. The next one is kinship, wotakuye. We always try to render kinship in everything that we do, because we were a matriarchal society. We really maintained our kinship through genetic roles that our people had and they carried. There were certain roles that the male carries and the female carries. And so with doing that, we maintain our kinship with knowing that like just how it is in our everyday life, having a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle. We really take into our kind heart with our kinship, and that's how we distribute our prayers, distribute our values amongst one another by practicing these values that we have. And so the next one is wochekya, prayer. We always try to be in a prayerful way. We always have to have faith in the higher power, knowing that if any challenge, if any danger came our way, that was our first defense, that we always geared up with the power of prayer in any hardships that came our way. And maintaining prayer, whether it was like through our ceremonies or praying for our relatives who had hard times with sicknesses, or just uncertain times of life, we always had to rely on prayer to get us through those hard times. And so with that, maintaining that connection with the higher power, the Great Spirit, it's very highly important that we try to acknowledge that in all that we do. And that's how we carry ourselves too as the Kota people, is with prayer. We always try to armor up with prayer and everything. So before I even came over here, Danielle asked me to come over here, and I made my prayers, to have a good journey over here and to share with you in a very good way, because it's not too often that we're able to do things like this, and to have it straight from the reservation, straight from the stronghold. It's very I really uphold that in our life, and that's how we get through the day, is with prayer. So the next one is respect. We always try to carry that one, wa'ohula, and to hold all things in our life in high regard, ensuring to not overstep anyone older than us. I'm only I'm a young person, so anything that I do, I always try to make sure that our elders, those ones that are older than me, especially in my kinship system, I always try to make sure that they are aware of everything that I'm doing, spiritually, because that's the backing. My unchi, my grandmother, she always says that in anything and everything that you do, try to back up those older ones that are ahead of you, because that's the one that's going to help them. And in there too, whenever we reciprocate generosity and reciprocate compassion, we have that belief that it's going to come back to us in a blessing that's tenfold. And so that's how we maintain respect too. It's kind of like all these values that we have, they kind of like intertwine with each other. And in there, the thread that kind of holds it all together is our wisdom. Woyaksape, that's the next one. The understanding of all the spiritual, mental, and physical in our Lakota way of life. We are a circular way of life. That's how we believe that everything that we do, it operates in a circle. Just how the 4 seasons is, just how I guess now we have the calendar, and we believe that it's in a circular way. And so we, like how I just now was saying, reciprocity. We are a strong believer in reciprocity, because we know that whenever we vibrate those connections, those those important details, it's going to come back to us in a tenfold manner. So that's kind of how we kind of get through it with that one, is that whatever we put out there always has its way to come back around to us. So we always try to generate all these beautiful things, to help us. And in there, it's an everyday walk of life. It's an everyday understanding. It's not just whenever we put on like our important regalia and we show ourselves around the people. No, it's actually a everyday walk of life. We always try to be grateful in these times. And we know that whenever we put forth these values, it's going to come back to us again in tenfold. And so with this, the last one is compassion. We call it wowaunshila. And we carry the kindness of how I just spoke, and we try to maintain that humble understanding of everything that we have in our life, to remain grateful and to radiate a grateful feeling out to the universe, because we know that maybe somewhere along the line we're gonna have a hard time, or like a loved one's gonna get sick, or we have loved ones pass away. We have to render that compassion during those times of uncertainty. And so I find it very important nowadays, to really live by these values that we have, and just in everyday walk of life, not just as Lakota people, but as human beings. We have to maintain all of these beautiful values that we have, that we were shown. In our Lakota way of life, it's a generational teaching. All these that I just explained was passed down from generation to generation. We have oral history, we have stories, we have ceremonies, we have beautiful teachings, especially with our food, with our animals, with our relatives. It all kind of interconnects, and whenever it's all wholesome, we're just really, really grateful, really humble. That's how we try to project all those beautiful things out there, because we know that there's a blessing. And so I guess my message to each and every one of you tonight is to hang on. My grandmothers and my grandfathers before me, they prayed for us in how we are today in our present generation to be here. Our lineage comes from it's passed down with our teachings. And so with that, I just want to say thank you guys. It really does me well to, again, come over here and to share a little bit with each and every one of you, and to have a little bit of a lighter understanding about how we are. We try to do our humble best to make sure that we're all taken care of. And that's how we put one footstep in front of the other. And we always try to grab each other by the hand or by the shoulder with a hug. And we try to acknowledge that. And we show the Great Spirit how much we mean to each other by doing so. Give your loved one a hug and give a handshake, because we're showing the Great Spirit how much we care. We're showing the spirits out there how much they mean to us. And we maintain it with love and compassion and forgiveness, And so with that, everything is in a circular motion. We have to always maintain. It's kind of like how I said, it's an everyday thing. And we have to kind of like with all the wisdom. The wisdom is the thread that combines all of these together. And so I'm gonna part you guys out with this, and it's a phrase that we use, and it says "Wowaunshila yuha yaunktelo." Try to always live with compassion. Whenever you root everything with compassion, everything kind of falls together. And so with that, with that today, it's very important in the times that we're in today. And it does me good too, as a reminder, just by speaking of it, to always be gentle. We always were taught that we can't be generating an uncertain energy. We don't want that to come back on us in an uncertain way. And there's a lot of, especially coming now after the pandemic, it's been a long time, and a lot of relatives, it kind of did a number on our people. And so I just ask that each and every one of you, that pray, that have that inner knowing with the Great Spirit, the Creator, the God, to kind of keep our people in prayer, as we kind of are gathering together to maintain these values, to maintain our kinships, to maintain our ceremonies, to maintain our language. And I'm very honored to be included in all that for our people. And it's good to have an education on this level too, because like I said, times are hard, and we really need each other. However much ways we can help each other, then let's do it. We are all in a healing way. So with that, I say Wopila Tanka, thank you very much for allowing me some time to be here. I come from, my blood lineage comes from Red Shirt Table area. My Tubal's family were enrolled members of the Oglala Sioux tribe, and I just do my best. My spiritual leaders, my elders, they all are, most of them are all gone now, but they have depended on me. They have kind of passed the reins over to me to continue on to help our people. And so anything I in my way, I always think anything that's an educational key, I'm all for it, because we're in a time where we no longer have that oral history. We have it in a new way. Those of us, we had grandparents to tell us these things, But nowadays we have gatherings such as this, like a learning workshop to learn from. And so I really hope and pray that you all carry something good from it. And that's just the way that my grandparents said, take only the good from things, whether it's a challenge or whether it was something you disliked, take only the good from it. So with that, I part you guys in a good way tonight. And thank you guys for allowing me some time. Lila Wopila Tanka.
Again, I would like to thank Duane Tubles for sharing this time with me and to coming and talking about the 7 Lakota values, which again are fortitude, generosity, kinship, prayer, respect, wisdom, and compassion. If you hear all of these values, you will understand that they stand in direct conflict of things such as poverty, since communities are able to share their resources together. They also stand in direct conflict of violence. Through these values, the community can use it to strengthen tribal sovereignty. To close out my speech, we also have another guest speaker who will be giving a traditional song. His name is Virgil Red Cloud Goode, and he is 6th generation Red Cloud descent. And as I sign off and give my time again, I would like to also share a phrase with you, Mitakyo Osan. This means we are all related. In communities that are all related, share respect for each other, and they endure hardships. Thank you.
Good evening. Tonight I really felt very honored to be in the Sandhills, coming out of the Black Hills of Pine Ridge, coming over the beautiful Sandhills and seeing the area over here, seeing an area in which the relatives of our own descendants, the chiefs, the ancestors once crossed over in this area. They crossed over with a chief by the name of Crazy Horse. And not too far from here is a place known as Fort Robertson. That's where Crazy Horse was taken at one of the trying times of the Lakota people. So tonight I wanted to ask each and every one of you to stand up, because I wish to honor each and every one of you for honoring us. Hey, 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 hi-ya. Hey, 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 hi-ya. Hey, hey, hi-ya. Hey, hi-ya, hi-ya. Way-ya, way-yo. Hey, hey, ya, hey, ya, ya. Hey, hi, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, way, yo. Hey, yo. Wakata kaya, Oshimala yo yo, Ambetukile, Oshimala yo yo, hey, Makadaya, Oye Maya, Niktawachi, Hawaii, hey, yo. Hey, 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 hi-ya. Hey, 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 hi-ya. Hey, hey, hi-ya. Way, hi-ya, hi-ya. Way, way, hey. Hey, ya, hey, ya, ya. Hey, hi, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, way, yo. Hey, yo. Wakata kaya, Hoshimala yo yo, Ambetukile, Hoshimala yo yo, hey, Makanaya, Hoye Maya, Niktawachi, Hawaii, yo, hey, yo. Hey, 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 hi-ya. Hey, 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 hi-ya. Hey, hey, hi-ya. Way, hi-ya, hi-ya. Way, yo, way, yo. Hey, hey, ya, hey, ya, ya. Hey, hi, ya, hey, ya, hey, ya, way, yo. Hey, yo. Wakata kaya, Hoshimala yo yo, Ambetukile, Hoshimala yo yo, hey, Makanaya, Oye Maya, Niktawachi, Hawaii, yo, hey, yo. Oh, without you, we are sick.
Thank you. Thank you, Danielle, Duane, and Virgil. It was absolutely amazing and beautiful. Does anyone have any questions?
I would say, well, like I said, COVID kind of did a lot of numbers on our people, and a lot of our elders unfortunately passed away. But I think from what I could gather, I think we were like 30%. But there's a lot of like a language advocacy going on the reservation, trying to, whether it was with like grants, or I know now in the school it's like mandated to teach our language in the school system. So I say we're a good work in progress come this far as language maintenance, because it's kind of challenging, because a lot of our elders are leaving us, but like those of us that kind of we're told and things, we're kind of more or less trained in our ways of life. We're trying our best to, like, on all levels to advocate for our language, because that's the first thing, you know what I mean? To maintain our tribal sovereignty is to have our language fully intact, for our young people. So there's a lot of language efforts going on over there. So thank you for asking. Well, it's kind of like a controversy, but like I would say it more or less it's already been done. You can't really undo what's been done already. And some of the relatives that have, they've whether they've been adopted in or they came in through like a language board or something, that they I'm pretty sure like they do their best too, to contribute to the efforts as well, regardless of division and everything. And we're doing our best to look through broader eyes to maintain our language, because it's very, very important. And so I'm very thankful, like how I explained earlier. There's a lot of workshops nowadays, for our young people, because of to kind of fill that void of elders teaching, you know what I mean? So that's kind of why we implement a lot in these workshops, because it's important, you know what I mean? And for the young people to want to learn and yearn all that stuff is also key as well, So I appreciate your question about that, because we're doing everything we can almost, it's kind of like an everyday thing, like I said. And I know that in the long run, our young people, they're going to really thank us, for, especially in the times like now where we're so in a fast lane, in a fast world. And sometimes we have to just slow down, put our brakes on, and to really understand, and sit down with the elder. That's the problem nowadays, is that there's not enough time, seems like. And the more the kids want to learn, that much more, the elders are leaving us, So it's important to kind of bring it all together, and to maintain a wholesome, effective way of trying to protect our language. So thank you.
So I think definitely, again, when I started off the presentation, you hear a lot of horrible statistics about the reservation, and that it's crime-riddled and the people are dangerous, and that isn't true. I actually moved here because I focus on aiding communities who have the crisis of missing and murdered. And people tend to think that Pine Ridge, the missing and murdered, is really intra-violence, and that's not always the case. Some of the statistics that show women who are assaulted, especially sexually assaulted, 80% of offenders are from off the reservation. So I actually, through Cape Hope, I used to help out with our food pantry. And we were contacted by a member of an organization called IoT Kin, and they wanted to learn more about our food pantry. And they actually were serving meals on the reservation to relatives who were unhoused or anyone who was hungry on Friday nights. Since then, that organization has developed into Road to the Res. It has a Facebook page if you're interested. And that is how I came into contact with Duane and Virgil Red Cloud Goode. They were really applying this reciprocity, but also generosity and fortitude, because food to the Lakota people, it's not just food, it's also medicine. And in a place where there is food insecurity and where the only grocery store is controlled by non-natives, it's really important to make a meal available. And feeds used to be community. So since January of last year, I have been very honored and invited and welcomed into the community and been able to help serve a meal to the relatives who are hungry and kind of share even that kinship more. And it's been a really great experience because you come into first contact with people and you realize that they're just like you. But I hope that answered your question. So the food, we also have had some very generous donors, but the food actually, it comes from us. For a while, it was coming from an organization called One Spirit through Jennifer Chaselone, but also we still had to supplement the meals. So basically on Fridays, we do have Road to the Res, and we have had some generous professors from here. I don't know if they're comfortable with me saying their names, but they have also come up to serve with us on the reservation, but it all comes out of pocket. And so we really wanted to do it again because, like I said, food is medicine and it's very healing to know that someone cares about you. And the meals are usually, during the summers, people usually go home because Pine Ridge has 9 districts. They usually go home back to their district, and you have to remember Pine Ridge is very spread out. But during the winters, we get up 70, 80 people. During the summers, it runs 30 to 50 people. If there is a cultural event such as a powwow going on, there's definitely a lot more people in town too. So for donations, you can again look up on the Facebook page, Road to the Res. There also can take donations. I can get them to the organization. We are currently waiting for our 501c tax write-off document too. If you guys would like to have that, that should come in another month. But also our organization, we are also going through our canned goods too, because sometimes we get an excess and we would like to donate back to the Chadron State College food pantry as well, because there are students from Pine Ridge and the surrounding districts, and we kind of want to open up more communication between Chadron State College and even the community, such as programs closer to home and Pine Ridge.
Well, let's give them a big